How's it going, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to yet another episode. In today's episode, I am visiting my uncle's pond for the second time. The first time, like you saw, I caught 2 5s out of there, so I had high expectations for today. But I learned something new, and every time I've been out there, I've learned something new about that body of water that I previously didn't know. In the sense of, oh, there's not shad in here. Oh, there's not, blank, whatever else is in there. Oh, I'm not going to catch them doing this. Because before, I wasn't able to really catch any on topwater, and kind of spoiler, I started catching them on topwater, and honestly, that's probably one of the funnest ways to catch them out there, whenever I go out there, mainly because, those big bass, if you can get, especially like that 5-pounder, like from the last video, that's a lot of fun, if you, especially when you catch the explosion. But yeah, let's just jump right into the video. So the kind of main idea for this video was to start and try to figure out some other ways to catch the bass. So like, I know that originally I didn't think I could catch anything on topwater, and the last video at this pond in particular, I was able to catch them throwing like a walking bait, and I'm like, well, okay, what else can I catch them on? Like, can I catch them on frogs? Can I catch them on buzzbait? And right here you see I caught one on the buzzbait, and before this, like, that was probably the first 10 minutes of me fishing. But before this, I had like a few swipes at it, so I kind of had a feeling, hey, this might be the thing. This might be the next thing that works. And for that year specifically, yeah, the buzzbait worked a ton. I'd go out there at probably like 5 in the morning, maybe even 4:30 sometimes, and just throw the buzzbait up until like the sun came out and it got a little warm. And then honestly, I stopped fishing most of the time during the summer because I really didn't catch too much else after that most of those times, or I'd be really tired, or it's already hot, or hungry, whatever. There's reasons I'd just only fished for that bit, but they'd stop biting it though, which is fun to just like go around and just cover water like I am right here, just throwing a lot of different topwaters. In this particular clip here, I tied on a walking bait like I did before. I actually didn't catch any working it. This one that I caught, as soon as it hit the water, it got destroyed by this guy here. So far, this day showed me a lot. Like, kind of showed me, hey, the buzzbait, if you do a loud buzzbait, that's gonna be the ticket. And I'll get more into why I decided to use a loud buzzbait compared to using a how I like to put it, like a quieter buzzbait. Yeah, so I mean, I mainly focused on fishing topwater for the majority of the morning. Right here I used kind of I like to say a quieter buzzbait, and caught only just that little dink and nothing else. Here I tied on the frog. This is probably one of the biggest frog blowups I had, and I felt like I got a good hook set into them, but in all honesty, I feel like that rod that I used for my frogging, I really need to switch to a heavier rod or something, because it does not do a good job if it's in really thick cover. And I know that you can't see it, but back there is probably some of the thickest mats in that entire lake, and it was also in toolies too, so the odds are kind of stacked against me for that particular fish there. But since it started getting warmer and the fish started kind of being a little less active, I switched back to the trusty Senko out there, and I was able to catch, I want to say like 3 more fish before I called it a day. And like you can see, kind of started getting overcast. You'd think that would help the topwater bite, and it just didn't. So I just kind of went back down some banks that usually are pretty productive for me, and give it another try with the Senko. And of course, I was able to get better bites and better fish doing it. But you know what? That's fishing. You just gotta throw what the fish wants. So like, that's right there. That's another like average 2.5 pounder, 2 pounder from out there. And here is like where I kind of was about to leave. I just wanted to hit this bank because I never really hit it, and I'm like, what the hell, might as well give it a try. And and I hook up on this guy here, and then right after I'm done, catching and releasing this fish, took a picture or two. I ended up catching very next cast right in the same similar area. I ended up catching another one, which that's going to be the next clip. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, this lake, it's a grind. I mean, I'll keep saying it in every video that I make from this lake, but it's such a grind for such a such a private lake, because there's not really a way that someone could sneak in and fish the shore either. You kind of have to sneak. If you did, you'd pretty much be sneaking and then stealing someone's boat, or launching your own boat. But at the same time, there's not really a good way of doing that either. You have to go through people's backyard. So there's not a lot. My point is, there's not a lot of pressure here, and for a lake that doesn't get a ton of pressure, it is one hard motherfucker. Like this place just decides just to kick your ass each time you go, and I've never had a private pond or lake ever do that to me. I'm not saying I've fished like a ton of them, but I've at least had experiences with 3 other ones that it's all like bam, 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 constant action. And there are some good, decent sized fish. I do have to at least give this one. This one does have the bigger caliber fish that I've ever gotten to fish, like private lake or pond wise, even in Nebraska. So I give this place a lot of shit for not being a stereotypical private pond. But it's a lot of fun, in the sense of just figuring stuff out, and that's the point of bass fishing. It's putting together a pattern and just figuring out how to catch those fish. And in a weird way, I kind of rather have it as it is, in the sense of I have to work for my fish. So just like in every other video, I am going to talk about what I threw that day. In the morning, I started out with the black buzzbait. I'll get more into the buzzbait kind of talk later, or kind of after I get done with the other lures. After that, I tied on, wrong one. Tied on a walking bait. I only caught one on it, and that was literally a reaction strike because it landed right next to a toolie, and that guy just clobbered it. After that, I put on a frog. Only had that one big blow up, which still to this day is easily the biggest blow up I've ever had. That fish was big. And then, obviously, like I mentioned, the Senko, weightless Texas rig Senko. Out there, I haven't really determined if chartreuse tipped is like required or not, but it definitely, you gotta have like a natural color out there. I've tried throwing like a June bug kind of color, especially when the water's murkier, and for whatever reason, they just don't really touch it. So even though there's bluegill and shad in there and yellow there's a decent amount of stuff in there, and they're just, whatever. They like to do their own thing. But yeah, so talking about buzzbaits today, like I mentioned, I threw the black one in the morning. The reason I threw this guy, and I still throw that guy out there, and honestly, the reason I throw this guy a lot in general is it's kind of a louder buzzbait, even though like this is a pretty common one that you'd probably find in literally any Bass Pro, Cabela's, kind of any tackle shop. I like that this guy's loud. However, when I know a lot of people throw buzzbaits and I feel like I need a more subtle or finesse approach, then I go with kind of this kind of style, especially with the holes. Sometimes the holes do make a difference, sometimes it doesn't. And then the last one, which once again a lot of you probably have seen too at stores, is kind of the one knocker or clacker, whatever you want to call them. And the reason I have, or you should have, different types of buzzbaits is, in my opinion, each one has their own time to shine. And usually, depending on what I see is going on, is usually where I determine it. So, like, great example here is, I didn't know that there's shad in there, especially big shad. So I just assumed that there's decent sized bluegill in here. And I felt like something a little louder, because bluegill kind of give off a lot more water and make kind of bigger splashes, because bluegill are obviously a lot bigger than most average sized shad. So I thought going with this would probably be a good good starting point for the buzzbait, and it was. I caught a few, and then after I caught a few, I'm like, well, let's try a finesse one, or well, not really finesse, but you know what I'm trying to say. Something that doesn't put off as much water and sound. And I mean, this worked, but I mean, I only caught one fish, and since then, ever since I've thrown this guy, I want to say I've only caught like 2 or 3 max out there. While this guy, even though I didn't record that day, which sucks because that day was insane, this guy's caught easily over 30 fish out there just that year. So yeah, so it's just more of having a good variety of buzzbaits, in my opinion, does help. It's just like anything else. Like, you know, it's a different approach, it's a different sound, it's a different style. It gives off a different action. And even like I have two different of these kind of buzzbaits. Anyways, I like these kind of buzzbaits, and this guy swims differently than the other one does in the water. And I mean, it's just like any topwater, and like I've mentioned before, like here's 2 different walking baits. This guy walks a little more clean than this one, but this one kind of is like a, I don't know how to describe it. I kind of like this guy when they're really aggressive. I feel like I can work this guy a lot faster than this guy, but that's just me. Yeah, hopefully that those tips helped, and help you guys, you know, at least kind of think and be a little more conscious about the decisions you put behind what you buy and tie on. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you were entertained and enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully I can get out my next episode tomorrow since I have the day off. Ideally I should. Yeah. You know, like I keep saying, the big 3. Please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.